Hello, Parent Footprint listeners. We have another Exactly Right Media favorite episode for you. In this episode, I spoke with the multi-talented and highly engaging Jordan Carlos. Now, as we start off in this talk, Jordan makes the really good point about comparing parenting to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And for all of us to think about Hall of Famers, they usually bat about 300, maybe just a tad higher. So if we can get it right 3 out of 10 times, we're Hall of Fame parents. So it just starts with us thinking about how hard are we on ourselves? What are our expectations for ourselves? And how can we have realistic expectations for ourselves doing this job where the only preparation for it was being parented by someone else? He also refreshingly talks about letting kids be kids. And we reminisced about our childhoods, even though I'm a little older than he is, and how things seemed simpler. There was more time. There was less scheduling. There was less focus on achievement and less worry and fear about getting left behind. And how we can bring those elements still into our life today, even though at times you might be feeling like you're swimming upstream. He adds that bells and whistles are not needed for everything. Like, give kids an open room, outdoor space, and some pizza, and everything can be good. They can have fun. It can be really simple if we let it be. Also, pretty funny, he was explaining about how living with thin walls between his neighbors really helps his parenting, because it really helps modulate the tone and the loudness of his voice, knowing that other people might be listening. We also talked about how our kids teach us so much, and if we can see them as our teachers and not just as our students, how much we have to learn from them about the world and about ourselves. Also, this wise concept of staying out of their way so they can grow and be their own person. And then it turned to something that I think we all can relate to, the topic of what happens if you don't like your close friend's kid and that kid comes over. And we had then tell our kids to play with these kids that they don't like. And I'll let you listen to that one, because a real conversation about what do we do in these situations. And also, we hit on the difference between the forest and the tree, parenting through the forest, the big picture. What is our intention? And the tree, what is the thing we're dealing with right now, like getting shoes on and getting out the door as quick as possible. We take a turn at the end, and you will hear about Marky Mark and The Rock. Yes, Marky Mark and The Rock come into the episode. And finally, a poignant parent footprint moment where Jordan talks about how involving his kids in his work makes everything more meaningful. Have fun with Jordan.
And in that moment, I was like, okay, I've given my child a memory, and I've showed them that, if you work hard and get lucky, you can actually make something that you've dreamed about come true. And the best part was not keeping it to myself, but sharing it with her and sharing it with my son and sharing it with my wife. That felt special because for me, it's kind of the intersection of like being a dad, being an artist, and being a friend to my loved ones, and just letting the lens focus a bit about what's important.
Welcome to Parent Footprint with Dr. Dan. I am Dr. Dan. This show is about making the world a more loving, accepting, and compassionate place, one parent, one person, and one child at a time. The key to raising healthy and engaged kids is for us parents to seek the same in our own lives while striving to be the best versions of ourselves each day. No matter who you are or where you came from, with increased awareness, you can be purposeful about leaving a healthy footprint for your children, your family, and all those you care about, while living your own life to the fullest. Today's show is a special show. Today's show is our 2-year anniversary with Exactly Right Media. We are so happy to be starting year number 3, and really happy to be starting it with a fellow Exactly Right Media podcaster and superstar, Jordan Carlos. Today's show is Adulting with Jordan Carlos. Jordan, welcome.
Thank you. What a send-up. Thank you very much, Doc. I appreciate that. Listen, and congratulations on now entering your 3rd lap around the sun here.
3rd lap. Thank you. I'm going to tell people a little bit more about who you are, even though I think most people know who you are.
Okay.
But I put it together, so I got to say it. Okay. So everyone, as you know, Jordan is a stand-up comedian and actor who's currently co-starring and writing on the 1st season of Everything's Trash from Freeform. He's also written for Divorce on HBO, written and performed for The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore on Comedy Central, and The First Wives Club on BET. He also appears on the current season of Black Mirror on Netflix and the Home Alone reboot of Disney+. In addition, of course, Jordan co-hosts the hit podcast Adulting on Exactly Right Media with Michelle Buteau. And finally, he hosts a new show called Can We Talk About This? For AMC Plus, where guests discuss the more problematic aspects of their favorite classic movies. So, Jordan, you're killing it right now. You're killing it.
How did I even have time to do this?
Yeah.
How did I even have time to do? Well, thankfully, there's a big old writer's strike.
Yes.
Listen. No. That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Okay, we're pulling for you.
Good thing. We're pulling. Thank you very much. I just decided to wear my WGA writers captain's hat.
Yes.
But to sport it wherever I go, people can't see this because it's a podcast. Anyway, thank you for saying all that. I try to keep as many fires going because I got kids and they eat everything like locusts in our house, and it's terrible. Yeah. I mean, they don't like the savory stuff. They're not really into butter, not really into my favorite cheeses. But my God.
They will be. They will be.
Yeah?
Yeah, they will. How old are you? You've got 2, right? You got 2?
I've got 2. Last I checked, I got 2.
Yeah. How old are they?
Claim them. They are 10 and 6.
10 and 6. All right.
They're responsible for some of these. Look at that. Look at these bags. Look at this.
Wrinkles. Yeah. I hear you.
My teeth are falling out. My hair is falling out. It's but I love them. I love them so much. My daughter, I guess I work for her. I have not yet received a W-2, but I think I work for her. I just made her breakfast the other day, and I asked her what she wanted. She said the usual. I don't know what that meant.
Yeah.
I don't know what that meant. So I just made her. I was like, oh, maybe she wants like jam and toast. So I made that for her. Give it to her. What kid doesn't like jam and toast? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Give it to her. She goes, ugh, what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with it?
Eat it.
Eat it, right?
Yes,
thank you. Thank you so much, right?
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't fired, but I was on probation. Then she touches my arm and she goes, listen, she said, I want applesauce with just a dusting of cinnamon.
Dusting?
A dusting of, very smart girl.
Yeah.
A dusting of cinnamon on peasant bread. Well, if you don't know anything, Home Alone,
Yeah.
Bread Alone,
Yeah.
much more boring movie. Bread Alone,
Yeah.
Bread Alone makes this type of bread called peasant bread, which is a total misnomer because it's $10 a loaf.
I was going to say, it is high-end peasant bread, right? Yeah.
I'm like, what peasant can afford this? I feel like a peasant after I buy it, but it's like, so she wanted that. And so I made that for her. And then the next day, I gave her a muffin and before breakfast, and she said, or for breakfast, before school, and she said, I specifically said, no blueberries. I was like, what? How am I doing, Doc?
You are. If let me put it this way: if you were a PA, you'd be fired, right? Like you would just be fired.
Right.
I love the dusting. So the peasant bread with some applesauce with a dusting. Wait.
Dusting.
Dusting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess I had it easy. For our girls, I needed to make what we called the big girl sandwich. And the
Ooh.
big girl sandwich was actually, I think my wife came up with that name. And it was, I believe if I recall, it was wheat bread with
Sure.
cream cheese and jelly, but it had to
Ooh.
be cut either with one of the cutouts that was either a heart
Hmm.
or a shape, and you cannot even see the crust. So, so I would often get hey, Daddy, can I have a big girl sandwich? So of course, oh sure, and then
Hmm.
that's not how Mom makes it, right? So it's like you just can't win. You
You
can't win.
can't win.
No.
I don't know what. There's so many weird things like that. Like my son calls my wife's bread that she likes, the bread alone. He calls it mommy bread, and I'm like,
Mm,
what kind of
mm,
shorthand is this? But you're talking about big girl sandwich,
yeah,
mommy bread. When did we throw away these terms?
yeah,
It's such silly. It's so silly. I
yeah,
don't know. I'm
yeah.
surrounded. I'm in a weird kind of like madhouse of silly titles for things.
Support for today's show comes from OneSkin. As the year winds down, you start thinking about everything you're thankful for, like family, health, and a skincare routine that actually works. Enter OneSkin. Founded by an all-women team of scientists, OneSkin is the first and only skin longevity company to target cellular senescence with their proprietary OS1 peptide. OS1 is scientifically proven to decrease lines and wrinkles, boost hydration, and help with the thinning skin that often comes with age. OneSkin isn't just about looking perfect, it's about giving your skin the support it needs to stay healthy and strong no matter your age. See what all the buzz is about. With more than 4,000 five-star reviews, their full line of face, body, sun, and travel-size products has earned the trust of happy customers everywhere. You all know that I've been using two products regularly, eye topical supplement and face topical supplement. My skin continues to look and be soft, and I continue to get feedback from others. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging so skin behaves, feels, and appears younger. It's time to get started with your new face, eye, and body routine at a discounted rate today. Get 15% off with the code FOOTPRINT at oneskin.co. That's 15% off with oneskin.co with code FOOTPRINT. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Support our show and tell them we sent you. We only have one body, one skin, and only you can choose to make it better. Age healthy with OneSkin. Let's go. I want to go back here. First of
Go
all,
back, please.
when did you when did you realize you were like legit funny?
Oh,
Like this is I'm going way back. I'm going way back.
I'm still working on that,
Yeah.
Doc. I'm
Yeah.
still working on. I'm still working on. It's kind of funny. It's interesting that you say that because my wife and I are, now that we're kicking 40 in the butt.
Mhm.
Um, we definitely. I was like, we are trying to work on. She's like, you're funny. Just accept that you're funny. And I'm trying to work on with her. I'm like, you're beautiful. Just
Mm.
accept that you're beautiful, because she does all these things where she'll go to a bakery, and then she'll be like, oh yeah, the guy gave me like 2 dozen bagels. He was acting weird. It's like, no, you're good looking.
Yeah.
That's why you get the extra
Yeah.
bagels. No, but for me, yeah, I guess I knew in junior high. In junior high, I wasn't trying in elementary school at all. In junior high,
Mhm.
there was something about like making people laugh in comedy that I was interested in, because I watched a lot of comedies anyway. And then
Mhm.
I was like, well, maybe I can do this myself. So yeah, in about the fifth grade, there was a chance to perform like Saturday Night Live, but for little
Yep.
kids.
Yep.
So we did that at a camp out. Weeks of preparation and practice,
Mhm.
weeks of study of the current SNL, staying up late, making up excuses, and I did a Dennis Miller thing. Everything
Mhm.
else was
Yep.
terrible.
Yep.
Everything else was awful. It was not good. And I did Dennis Miller, an impression of Dennis Miller, and people were like, "This kid's got the juice."
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
I did some scathing commentary on the teachers. So that was
Oh,
with the camp
yeah.
out. You know what
Yeah.
it is. You know what it
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
that's when I knew. I felt like I had something. I've never felt funny, but I've always felt I understood the metrics of making people laugh. That's it.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
working on it with my therapist. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, because that sounds like highly the intellectual
Oh, good. Yeah.
process. No, right? It's
Yes.
the intellectual
Yes.
process. So
Yes.
what I'm hearing is you're having to settle in to the other reality of, as you said, like the juice that you bring is
Mhm.
actually funny, not just because you're smart and understand the metrics. Like that, there's more, right?
There's more to it.
Yeah,
You got to be
yeah,
charming and disarming.
yes,
And people love likability in America. Of course, in
yes,
England, I'd be a much better comic in England because I'm dark. I
yeah,
can be dark.
yeah,
I'm usually a happy clown, but
yeah,
I would
yeah,
love to just be a dark horse.
yeah,
But it's America, so this is what we got to do.
yeah,
It's fine. It's fine. But that's basically when I knew. Then I started doing improv in high school. And then I kind of kept that secret from my parents because they wanted me to do something practical. Then when I got
yeah.
to college, all I did was comedy and then some other schoolwork on the side. And then when I graduated, I was like, man, there's no jobs in comedy. So I did advertising for a while and then would do comedy on the side until finally I saved up a whole $5,000.
Oh, big.
And yeah, I was like, later, suckers, flipped over my desk.
Yeah.
And quickly went broke in the real world. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to pinpoint. Other than that, that was the most searing moment of like, dang, I just made people laugh
Yeah.
from stuff I made up.
So is there a moment, sometimes it's a moment, sometimes it's many micro moments that you were like, whoa, I can do this for a living. Like I really can do this for a living.
It's what it is a series of micro moments because in America we love funding the arts, and so you have to. That was sarcasm.
Yes.
All right, so what you have to do is it's you eat what you kill.
Right.
And so every time you book something, you're like, oh my God, we're gonna eat. Like this is crazy. So I think for me, I never lose that magic of like, I'm booking something, I get to make something, this feels good, and it never really goes away because and I've heard really great comedians like Stephen Colbert talk about this, where it's like every job he gets, he thinks it's his last.
Yep. Yeah.
And when the job is over, he thinks he'll never work again. And so that never really goes away. I'm trying to kind of like make friends with it a little bit more and see that it's just my desire to keep doing it as long as I can,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you also then being involved in so many different projects is also a way, not only very stimulating and exciting, but it's also a way to keep some of that at bay, right? Well, if this does, I
Yes.
got this, and I got this, and I'm working on this, right? You just got to keep all the irons in the fire. Yeah.
Wow, you see right through me. It is
Yeah.
true. You got to keep it at bay. And
Yeah.
it's hard. It's just like there's no I think that's the thing. It's a lot of comedy and entertainment is like sales, and you're selling yourself. And it's hard to create something that is like that is passive, or makes you money passively. So there is kind of a need to be out there and proactive. And I feel like death of a salesman here, but
Yeah.
you have to be, you have to be out there doing it. And I'm definitely a happy warrior. I like creating and making and writing, and so that's definitely like been my secret weapon is that I enjoy what I do. I've seen the alternative, and I do know that if you have to stop what you're doing for a while to make ends meet, it's not a life sentence, which is great. And I've gone from you just have there's sine curves in
Yep.
careers, and you have to be comfortable with that. I mean, listen, I've been in first class and I've been in
Yep.
worst class.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's like because it's just that you should never get too comfortable in expecting that you will always have like some kind of amazing A-list career all the time, you know?
Right, right.
Like you just have to like really more embrace it, put your arms around it, not your head around it, and see what comes. It's
Yeah.
definitely made me a patient person, you know? Because you have to be patient with yourself.
Well, and I think understanding what's important, what you're saying is understanding the like those sine waves, that ups and downs and the windy road is actually part of the process as opposed to a measure of success or failure. Like it sounds like you have to have that larger view, that 20,000 foot view,
Yes.
while being in it at the same time.
Yes. That is exactly correct. You have to be building the car as you drive it off a cliff. It's wild.
Which is kind of like parenting, actually. As I think about being in the moment, acting in a certain way, and then being at 20,000 feet saying to yourself, should I really be saying this right now? Or should I, what's my goal here? Am I just trying to like get out of emotion I'm feeling? Or am I actually trying to, guide this child in this particular point in life?
Guide. That's good. I mean, I definitely, I think I've been, I feel it's like baseball. You hit 3 out of 10, you're in the Hall of Fame.
I like that.
You're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I feel like with my kids, I'm definitely more calm than I am angry with them. And especially lately, it's been really good. And you just want a little, when you get a little buyback at the bar, a free round. They'll do something where you're like, oh, gentle Jesus, thank God the lessons worked.
Yeah.
I think my son, he just said thank you once. I handed him so I nearly blacked out. It was like it's like, oh my gosh. And I know that they do this with strangers. With strangers, right. And with others, they are very much like thank you, please. Like little sociopaths.
Right.
But with me, they're just like, hey bum, get me more juice, Yeah. And but they've been very respectful lately, which has been really, I think they're buttering me up for something. I don't know, Doc.
Yeah.
But it's yes.
Take it.
Just take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Just leading me down the primrose path.
Yeah.
But I think that has been really good, and you realize the investment that you put into them is somewhat paying off. Like my son he's like me. He definitely is he's a late bloomer, and he walked late. He crapped his pants till this is great. Just he caked his pants for a long time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of me down in the slop sink, wringing out undies, wringing out Paw Patrol underwear. Yeah. Because I love him.
Yeah.
But I was like, when's this boy ever gonna crap in a toilet? And then he did one day. And we were so, oh my gosh, we were so elated. And then he's reading now. It's crazy. It's like, we thought it would never happen.
Yeah.
Because his sister moves objects with her mind.
It sounds like she does. Yes.
Yes, she does that.
Yeah.
She's going to be in the X-Men school.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. But I just, you don't know if what you're doing is right, what you're doing is wrong. I mean, ultimately, I just want them to like each other and to, not put me in a home. Not put me in a home.
Not too early. Not too early, at least.
Not too early. Can I please be in the attic? Whatever.
I like the concept. I like this Hall of Fame concept. That's actually, there's something there, right? Everyone, right? Hall of Fame hitters, 333, right? Like 1/3.
Boom. 1/3.
And we parents in our generation of parents, I'm a little older than you, but I'm putting us in the same generation of parents. It's like, there's so much pressure. The expectations are just crazy for this. It's like this perfection of parenting and perfection of children. And you need a 6.2 GPA if you want to get into a decent school. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Yeah. And I love this Hall of Fame. It's like, hey, let's try to do a good job. Let's try to get a hit 3 out of 10 times. Let's just have reasonable expectations for being human.
Remember, like, I don't know if you played Pee Wee ball, but I played Pee Wee ball.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, I don't know if your coach would just say, my coach just said existential things like way to be.
Yeah.
Way to be. Remember way to be? It's like,
way to
what?
be. Yeah.
That's all you had to do in baseball. Or they'd say, just get a piece of it. Just get a piece of it. There you go.
Nice.
That's it. Stay on base.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something to it, man. There's something to it. It's definitely metaphorical. And
just get out there. Just get out there.
Get out there. Just get under it. Just get out there. Be there.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that there is a lot of undue pressure in parenting, and probably, I try to really combo with my wife about like where she's coming from. Like, for instance, she's like, I don't want to drive any kids anywhere for any after school activities. So we try to keep after school activities to 2 a week. There are families.
How 1977 of you.
I know.
Yeah.
There are families that in our group of friends, and the children. I'm like, how? It's almost like they're like the kids are. They're like interns at a hospital. Right. They're on shift, man.
Right.
We got some that swim. We got some that are in fencing. We're in Spanish lessons, hip hop, dancing, then ballet. When is this kid? He's gonna be. They must be completely stressed out. They are. Even when they're not showing it, they are. And this is everyone listening. Everyone does it their own way, and everyone. But I do it the right way. Just tell them I do it the right way.
Jordan does it the right way, and the rest of us, no judgment, but we really need to think about our kids being kids,
right?
And not make decisions based on the Joneses and this thing about if you don't intern for ABC by 7th grade, you're never going to have a successful life, right?
No, these are the Ramirez's, but that was you were close. Great family.
Yeah.
I don't know the Joneses, but I don't know, man. It's crazy. I always feel also like we're there for our neighbors. We have really good neighbors, and we have thin walls. So like I try to keep it, which actually is very helpful.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be calm because you have thin walls.
Exactly.
You're like you want to scream, but it just comes through gritted teeth, and it seems pretty calm. Right?
That is peasant bread. It's a new kind of peasant bread.
Please put your shoes on for the last time. Why is putting the shoes on the hardest thing for a child to do? I don't understand.
It is. Well, and I think you're probably talking with the male species more than the female. Am I being so
No. My daughter, as the court of last resort, she's a constructionist.
Yes.
Because my wife has made her a constructionist, and she's like, time is a man-made manifestation. It's made up.
Yeah.
Don't need it. Who cares?
Yeah.
No stress.
Right.
She's 10.
Right.
She's 10. Of course she has no stress. She leaves the house, no money, no phone, no stresses.
It'll all work out.
Yeah. I'll get all the resources. I'm going to have the toast that I want.
Yeah.
Dad's going to put me in the car the way I want to be in the car. She'll change her mind. We have to leave every day at 7:55. And every day at 7:55, she'll be like, I don't want to wear these shoes today. And we're like, there's a whole like constellation of carpool pick up and drop off.
Lots of moving pieces.
I feel like Ned Beatty and what was that? What was that movie where he's like, oh my gosh, it's where the guy is like, it's about news. And he yells out the window, we're not going to take it anymore. And Ned Beatty is just like, you have no idea that you are part of something so much bigger that is bigger than you. And I need you to put these New Balance on. Can we please get out the door? Anyway, but all that to say, I'm going to stick with them. I think I'm going to keep being a dad, I think. And this show has been helpful in that.
Well, okay. I got an intersection of thoughts here.
Please.
The keeping them. Okay, two things. Don't talk about the show. They teach us as our kids have gotten older, we're
Mhm.
a generation ahead of you guys here, and we have these young
How
adults now.
how old are your kids?
Okay, so 19, 21, and 23.
Oh my gosh, and you still have their art on your wall for those
That
listening right
yes,
now.
right there.
Great stuff.
That is their self-portrait when I moved into
Beautiful.
this office, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago. So
Come
they all
on.
had a self-portrait, and I love them. I love it.
Oh.
Um, so they teach us so much. It's kind of like, wait, who's here to teach who? Like I just can say the older
Yeah.
they get, my wife
Yes.
and I are just blown away of the lessons that and your daughter made me think of that too. It's like the stuff that comes out of her mouth,
Mm.
her ideology right now about, hey, just chill out, dad, things are gonna work out. It's like,
Hmm.
huh, maybe she's right. Like, I mean, it's like out of
Yeah.
the mouth of babes, these messages.
Yes. Oh, truly, truly. It's wonderful to hear those kind of things. And to what on that topic, my son yesterday was reading Frog and Toad.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know Frog and Toad. Frog and
Yes.
Toad's it's a classic. It's friend of the pod, Frog and Toad over here.
Yes.
and so in Frog and Toad, I think Toad is always like, got a problem, and Frog's always solving it. And Toad was sick, and Frog nursed him back to health. And I think Toad has to ultimately say thank you or something like that. And then my son was like, well, what about all the other little animals that helped Toad get well? Like the bird that brought a string or something like that, or this other animal, this furry creature that brought some soup. And it's like, oh my gosh. He's, he thinks beyond the scope of the book, and he's a little book critic too. He's found fault in Frog and Toad. And I was like, you're right. We gotta throw this away. So they do, because they're miracles in and of themselves.
They are.
And then they say miraculous things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I just want to stay out of their way most of the time and not let them down. Not let them down. That's like my thing,
Well, so that's huge.
Yeah.
And then not the stay out of their way. So that's another really important parenting message, because our culture, as you might have heard, has these terms like helicopter parenting, snowplow parenting.
Snowplow parenting.
Oh yeah, so snowplow. So everyone knows helicopter parenting. You're hovering over your kids.
Okay.
Snowplow parenting. I first heard it described when kids went off to college, and parents were calling professors and arguing about classes and their kids' grades. And the idea was the snowplow is they plow the ski run ahead of them, so it's a very smooth run. Yeah. So we've gone too far with that, people. And I have to say that all of this comes, like 95% of the time, it comes from love, caring, good intentions. Like even the college scandals a few years back, when people were like, oh my gosh, what were people thinking? When you dissected all of that, parents just wanted the best for their kids. Again, which leads to certain behaviors. So we've gone too far. And so to hear you say the message to the crowd, the audience is, stay out of their way is really important. And science and experience show that, our most prolific, creative, innovative kids had a lot of time to think and not be scheduled, and to be creative and to be in nature and to be left alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I want them to enjoy their own company and enjoy their own thoughts, and to come up with, creative stuff, and they do, they really do. They have, for anybody listening, there's a really great book, because my kids will come by and be like, I'm bored. And I'm like, you're lucky. You're lucky to be bored. There's a really great book called 365 Days of Activities. So anytime they say that, I have them thumb through, and like, now my house looks like a zoo, but, cause they're making little volcanoes. One made a tent the other day. I was like, this is the best. They make a mess. They make a total mess down in the basement, but I'm okay with it. And it's I just don't know, because you can look into the tea leaves and you hope, wish, pray for the best for your children. And so far, so good. Yeah. My kids will freely say that they love me, and they will hug me and things like that. But I know that children, in our DNA, we grow away from our parents,
Right. We're supposed to.
We're supposed to, which is sad.
Yeah.
Unless you're from Brooklyn and then you
Yeah.
mostly live with your parents and you
Yeah.
don't get away. It's an unhealthy amount, which is it's my wife's family.
Yeah.
It's very much reminiscent of Everybody Loves Raymond,
Oh,
with
nice.
just a hint of Apocalypse Now. So it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
just a
Okay.
touch of that. A lot
I
of
see that.
dysfunction. Yeah,
A lot of yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just a chef's kiss. Yeah,
Just a little bit. So, okay. Speaking of shows, let's talk about your guys' show,
Sure.
Adulting. How did that concept come to be? Not only the concept, but then the format, the great question format.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, well, it came to be because we were just like, we were in a green room kind of complaining about our adult lives, about logistics and like taxes and like, kids and
Yeah.
all this crap and how to, fold a fitted sheet. And
Ah.
it's just all
Yeah.
another
I
thing.
can't. I can't.
Yeah.
No.
Just leave it alone. You leave it
Yeah.
alone and that's
Right.
it. Or you pay
Right.
somebody to do it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, maybe this should be like a show. So we started doing like live shows just for fun and having friends come up. And then we decided, oh, what if it's all organic, all organic.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, well, if anybody has any questions, you could just put them in a bucket. So we just, sent the bucket around. We had really great questions. And from there, that's when WNYC got involved, and they were like, well, we could make this into a podcast. And so we just recorded, and most of the time it's live to tape, right?
Yep,
So
right.
we recorded these shows, and they're just really, really fun. And that's kind of how it grew. And then when ERM came knocking, we jumped, and it's been fantastic. So we just try to like, kind of get that essence of our show in a Mason's jar every time, and for people to enjoy, and mostly the show is kind of like, it's like a tent revival for parents who happen to get babysitters that night.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
mom and dad are out, and anything could happen, But we try to wrap it up because we know they have a babysitter.
They have to. You got to get home. You got to get home. There's so much synergy. So first of all, I think there's so much like just synergy and chemistry with you and Michelle.
Oh,
and
thanks.
then when you bring your guest on, like it seems like the vast majority of the time, and most recently, I listened to your last show with Jean Grey. There's so much. You guys are bouncing off each other,
Yes.
like crazy. Like it just seems like it's fun. Like it's so fun to do.
Oh, well, I mean, what you're not seeing is that we have had a couple of rosés.
Yeah.
Before all that begins,
Okay.
and so we're loosened up, and we might have had an edible, so an incredible edible, so that we're all the more loosened, and I feel like that kind of, and since we're buds anyway, it just you have a shorthand with each other, and it's a warm room, and everybody is yearning to laugh and yearning to connect.
Right.
And so we let our guards down and do that, and I think that's what's really fun, because usually it'll be about 2 weeks since we've seen each other, and we're just catching up, and this might have happened and that might have happened, and we got stories over here and over there, and it's just fun. I mean, our kids last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, we were I work in this place called Industry City in Brooklyn, and we were going to meet up. It's just a random Sunday. So let's meet up. We'll get pizza with the kids. It'll be fun, right? And then, of course, New York is like, oh, yeah, you want to meet up, do you? How about a monsoon? And so it starts monsooning. And then I was like, all right, well, let's just all go up to my office. Forget the pizzeria. Let's go up to my office. We go up to my office. My office is like, I have a small office in a 10,000 square foot open space. And we had about 8 kids with us, and they went banana bread. That's all you really need, people, is pizza and a wide open space.
Yep.
And it was like fantastic. And that's the kind of thing, those are the kind of experiences. And then maybe we'll talk about it in an episode about like what you really need to entertain children,
Right.
And learning that like bells and whistles aren't necessary when you just have people that love and know each other and can say like, remember when, as your kids run around and, they don't hurt anything or break anything. It's just like, you keep it super, super simple,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious, did the pizza, does it come with peasant crust?
It it does not, unfortunately.
It does not.
Which is why the children did not eat it.
They did not eat it. You put a lot of cheese on there, feathered,
send it back.
just a dust of cheese.
Well, it's kind of sad to have New York kids. I will say this: I was raised in Texas, where I thought cheese came in single slices with plastic. All right,
yeah, exactly.
Kraft singles, baby.
Yeah,
and maybe you'd melt that over a burger, maybe not. All right,
yeah,
I didn't know. Up here, like my kids. Oh my God, my kids eat margarita pizza. Didn't know what that was till I was in my 30s. You understand?
Exactly. Totally.
Margarita pizza.
Right.
I thought it was an alcohol.
Yeah.
Situation. Not the case.
No.
Terrifying. My kids are terrifying.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. They have fine palates. Fine palates. Fine palates.
Truly, man. Truly.
So is there a question that stands out? Yeah, I mean, there've been so many great questions. Is there one that stands out that you guys got and you're like, whoa?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Most of them have to do with open relationships. Most of the parenting, yes. The parenting questions have been, my favorite was, how can I stop pretending to like my friends' kids?
Oh, that's good.
I stop pretending to like my friends' kids? And that really, and then I turn around and accused Michelle of writing the question, and then that was just really fun. But it's just, that's so real, right? I mean, because I had a friend come over recently, and their kid could not come over. I was like, it felt like a nightclub. I was like, nah, you're good.
Yeah,
we're gonna bounce this kid.
Yeah,
like she can hang out on the stoop. It's like it was. It's scary, and but it's something we can all relate to. It's universal. Just because you like your friend,
right,
doesn't mean you're gonna like their offspring. It's totally. And what do you think? What do you think, Doc?
Well, that's a good question. What I was thinking was that, man, we really need to be thinking about what we do to our kids in those situations, because I think when our kids are younger, we feel like they can tolerate anything. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to have time with my friend, and, they're fine. They'll mix. And as they get older, I think there's two components. One is, how do we feel about having that kid around? And two, how does our kid feel about having that kid around? And a lot of times our kids are telling us, no, I don't want to be with them today. And we're like, oh, no, they're fine. They're family friends. And I think we sometimes just wash right over them. And they're actually telling us what we really need to hear.
Absolutely. But it's really, I had to suck it up. It's hard. You got to, in the 80s, had to suck it up. You had to suck it up. It didn't matter. Maybe the kid had Duck Hunt or something like that. Maybe it would be okay, but most of the time it was just an ordeal,
Yep.
And you're right. I think if my kids aren't jazzed about seeing somebody, I should be listening to that and just hang out with the parent, and try to work something else out. Yeah. It's a toughie. That's a tough question.
But isn't that fine line, though? Because we want our kids to be tolerant of other people. And maybe there's a message to ourselves to be tolerant of other people. And we want our kids to have a voice. And we want to teach our kids everything from, your body. No one touches your body without you wanting your body touched. If you're not comfortable with a person, you have a voice, and then at times they're like, "Mommy, Daddy, I don't like that person. They don't make me feel comfortable." Like, "Oh no, it's fine. They're family friends. We're good." It's just a pool party. Just a pool party. You don't even really have to hang out with them, but
Get over it. Yeah. It's like, for convenience.
This is making me think, though. This is making me think this question, right?
I know, but it's real. It's you can't fake it. You can't fake it. And it's like, is it better to be transparent about it and say, like, I'm not loving little Archimedes right now, and I don't know, maybe you got to take him to finishing school or something like that.
Right.
But it is in no way, although I will make this parallel. When like a friend brings their dog over, and it's just and it's not
You didn't have when you invited your friends over,
Yeah.
you weren't expecting their dog to be on your couch and licking up and down your hallway. That wasn't part of the invite, right?
That was not, and yet and still.
Yeah.
They'll do that. Now, I had a kid come over we're still cool. This kid, but they brought a Sharpie, a red Sharpie.
Oh.
And then just kind of let it like bleed all over our couch, our new couch.
What color was your couch?
My couch is it's gray. It's just a gray couch.
And now so, it's got chicken pox now.
My wife, she just went apoplectic. It was like, lasers coming out of her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? You know? And she was like, you didn't notice the Sharpie? And I was like, I was tending to the kids. So we had to try to get the stain out. You got to blot it. It's terrible. And the kid is so small.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that they're like, you know, they don't get it.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think we just need to probably search everyone at the door. Like put everything, take all the contents out of your pocket.
Yes.
It's
gonna be like TSA.
Channel TSA, little animal area, area, and But to your point about you said about transparency. Should we be transparent? I found over time in those sorts of situations, particularly as our kids had their own strong opinions and would tell us about them, I found that when we're trying to walk that that party line and be like politically correct, say the right thing, we lose our kids' confidence because they're like, are you freaking seeing this? You're trying to tell me that you think that kid's behavior is fine and I should be okay with it. So like all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I actually have to be honest and say, you know what? That person, is having some behavioral difficulties or they're having some tough family stuff and be real and then try to problem solve how to deal with the situation.
Totally. And I'm terrible because my wife's the very, if anything goes wrong with my kids, I immediately become like the bodyguard. I will start parenting if you won't, you know? And then my wife's just like, there's a diplomatic way to do all this. You know? But I'm like, I'd rather everyone be embarrassed for a second than have my child suffer for a moment, which is bad because they got to work it out for themselves, you know? They got to work it out but they look at you with those big eyes and you're like, all right, don't worry.
The hammer is coming. The hammer.
The Texas hammer is coming. I'm from Texas and I am the Texas hammer. Is it bad that I try to like write all the things that went wrong with me when I was a kid?
No, that's what we do. That's okay. Yeah. So that's what we do. And here's the ingredients, I think, which is a very big part of this show is that awareness. So all of us only know about parenting from how we were parented. And generally we're like, oh, this stuff was all great, so I'm going to do this stuff. Or this stuff was terrible, I'm going to do the opposite. Or, all this stuff happened to me and I'm fine, you know, without really like looking.
That's such Gen X stuff. Right? That's me. Yeah, that's such Gen X latchkey stuff.
Totally. Yeah. So ideally, we are aware of where we came from, what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we think about how do I want to do it? How do I want to do it in the big picture, which I say like is the forest, and how do we want to do it in the moment, which is the tree? And sometimes the tree, like the shoes is the tree. Right. So you got to get your shoes on. We got to get out the door in time. Yeah. And that can create a lot of conflict, which happened a lot in our household on the way to school. And then there is the forest, which is I ultimately had to come to some experiences, which is like, you know what? I actually want our mornings to start better. And I want them to go walk into school without people yelling at each other. And I want to go to work without feeling like I was just a crappy dad that just was short with my kids because of my full day. And I want to have a good moment. So that to me would be like, that's that forest. Am I focusing on the forest or the tree? Which is, no, we got to get your goddamn shoes on and get to school.
They're Velcro. Can you just slip them in there? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what a profound point. I love that. I mean, to that end, I've started to wake up super early. I wake up at like 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up at 5 and then exercise and try to do the things that like I
Nice.
usually jam in,
Right.
like at those odd hours in the morning when you're trying to get them out the door, and it just feels a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I have it all figured out, but I will say having that time to myself allows me to be a lot calmer when it comes to like these kind of critical moments in the morning, you know?
Totally. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. And that shows that prioritizing and that awareness of how you want to be when you're on as dad with the timelines and the shoes and the
Absolutely. So you can the peasant bread of it all.
Yeah,
So it's like you can do 5 a.m. You can get up, you can work out, you can even watch a little Sports Center if you want to, send out some emails, and like maybe pay a bill, something like that needs doing.
Yep.
Do some reading, watch Succession, like all these things.
Intense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my new thing because it's like I noticed that my late night. I was like late night guy.
Yeah,
and
right.
from stand up. And so I was like, okay, I'll just stay up late at night and do these things. But then I wasn't getting bedtime with my wife. And, it was kind of like, it felt like we were sleeping apart, because if I come to bed at 1 or something like that, then I'm not getting 1, sleep. 2, I'm not having those moments that I want with her, cuddling in bed, things like that. So, this wake up early,
Nice.
This is like a TED Talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, this is like maturity. This is like Jordan Rising. Jordan Rising is maturity.
Oh, no.
Yes.
That's the name of my next book. Jordan Rising.
Jordan Rising.
Look forward to Random House.
Yeah.
No, it's super helpful. I recommend it to anyone. And it's great. You brag about it at parties. It's really fun. It's great. You feel better. It's like you feel superior to
So what
others.
time do you go to bed now? So how do you get your
whenever
sleep?
the woman does. When she goes to bed. I mean, I follow her. That's the greatest parent because I want to be around. I want to be a grandparent too. This is parenting thing. I want to be a grandparent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to be a great grandparent.
Yeah.
I see what the lady does. I do that. She did yoga. I do that. She eats goji berries. I do that. Now she goes to bed early. So she said to me, she gave the way the goes. She was like, I'm going to live like 15 years longer than you. And I was like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll show you.
We'll make it a hard 10, lady.
Yeah.
And then so usually I'm in bed at like 9 and then, lights out at about 10, gotta look at the screens, gotta read the news, gotta worry, gotta fret.
Yeah,
gotta do that. But
that's good. Okay. 7 hours. You get your 7 hours.
7 hours. But I have no idea, like for instance, my kids go to bed at 8 and 8:30. That's crap. That's terrible. They are missing out on the world.
That's not going to last. But so enjoy it while you can. The day that they stay up later than you is a really interesting transition. You got a little time for that. But okay, I don't want to freak you out. So let's stay in the present. Okay, Jordan, come back to the present. Your life is real
doom.
Yeah, your life is really good right now, man. You've got things wired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I should be soaking this up. These moments I should be soaking up. Yeah, you're totally right,
Mm-hmm.
And but I think everybody gets sleep which is very calming in the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially the dog. The dog sleeps a lot. The dog sleeps 12 hours a day.
They're onto something.
I give him one walk. He's 11 years old. I give him one walk.
Yeah.
And he's out.
Yeah.
I have to put smelling salts in front of his nose to wake him up to eat.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Sleep's important, everyone. Sleep is really important.
True.
Parenting is hard.
Yes.
It is hard, and we need our resources. We do need our self-care, which you are doing by working out in the morning. We need our sleep, and ideally, we eat pretty healthy if we can. All of this stuff goes into our ability to make decisions and control our emotions and not lose our you-know-what.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, I really feel like it might be. I don't know if it's self-care as much. I hate working out. So it's almost like self-compassion, where it's like I'm trying to do the things that I hate, though I know that they are good. Eating your vegetables, though I know it's good for me.
Right.
Despite all that, I will get it done. Like, getting to the mat every morning, either doing yoga or kettlebells. Look at me bragging about kettlebells.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that, guys.
Yeah.
Check me out. Check out my
Yeah.
My health journey on
Yeah.
IG, everybody.
More
Oh my
cowbell.
God.
More cowbell.
More cowbell. Yeah. I would rather lift a cowbell than a
Yeah.
kettlebell.
Yeah.
It's a lot. There's a lot of crying after it's over, but I'm strong enough to admit it.
Yeah.
And I think that ever since I started on this, I do feel like a much better husband and dad and friend to myself. You know, that
Nice.
kind of thing.
Nice.
I encourage anybody to wake up at 5. If there's parents out there, 5 a.m., get it done. Everybody's like, I'm now switching this program off.
Try it. Try it. No, I'm with you.
What time do you wake up? What time do you wake up?
Well, so I now am, when I used to wake up at 5, I would do my writing at that time. There was times I'd wake up at 4, which was insane, to get writing done before the kids got up, then have a full day, grinding for a while.
Yeah.
Now that our kids are older, I'm actually finding my wife and I are like sleeping in till like 6:30, but we just have the conversation, which is like, that's too late. And like, cause we're kind of catching up, like of sleep deprivation for too long. But now we're like, you know what? That's not enough hours that we want to do in the morning to start our day. So we're gonna bring it back. We think to like 6 o'clock or so.
That's fantastic. I mean, it reminds me of Marky Mark. Marky Mark wakes up. Did you see his schedule?
That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. But man, I would like, I'd like to experience like feeling like being that strong for a week. That would be kind of cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be cut from wood like him.
Yeah.
I think The Rock wakes up at 3:30 a.m. There's something. There's an app. It doesn't
surprise me. Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. There's an app that you can get called the Rock Clock, wherein you wake up when The Rock does. And yes, that's for every parent out there.
Damn, The Rock. All right, everyone, The Rock Clock. Okay, let's bring it back to. Let's just bring it back to self-compassion in the morning. Get yourself centered. Get yourself grounded. Do stuff for you, even if it's not fun, but it's good for you, and it sets you up for the whole day.
Sets you up for the whole day. You make their breakfast so that you make their lunch before they get up. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I know what breakfast they want, so everything is done. Nice. Everything is done. You know? It's like, ugh.
Good system.
My kids are like they're like an Upper West Side condo board. They're just like really a lot of complaints.
Perfect.
So they have none. There's nothing they can say.
Nothing.
Absolutely. That's all you can do.
All right, Jordan, it's time for the parent footprint moment question.
Oh my gosh. When did I know? Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Tell us about a time that you became aware of yourself as an individual, as a parent, or even an awareness of your own parents, and that new awareness had a positive impact on your life, your kids, and or those you love.
Oh, my Lanta. All right. I feel that the moment that you're describing, for me, it had to be when I brought my child to set for the first time, actually. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would be like, I was like, oh, I'm kind of like being, I'm gloating or something like that. But it was magical because it was actually at Disney Studios. Mm. And I pointed out all the things that I loved. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I have no connection to Hollywood outside of my own aspirations. And so I showed my daughter where Snow White had been, they did the animation for that, and The Little Mermaid and all these places. And I could just see in her eyes, like, it just, she was blown away, and I took her around on a Hollywood golf cart,
Yeah.
And it was just so pure, wholesome, and magical. And what she did after was she drew a picture of it. And, like the kind of narrative way children make things with Crayola. And it was, a wonderful kind of like tapestry of the whole day. And in that moment, I was like, okay, I've given my child a memory. And I've showed them that, if you work hard and get lucky, you can actually make something that you've dreamed about come true. And the best part was, not keeping it to myself, but sharing it with her
Yeah.
and sharing it with my son and sharing it with my wife. And
Yeah.
that really felt like, that felt special because probably in my 20s, into my 30s, I would have, I think I would have kept things more to myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would have been like, I need this for me, and this has to be black boxed and not shared. But I couldn't wait to show them around. And
Nice.
and I think that for me, I mean, it's kind of the intersection of like being a dad, being an artist, and being a friend to my loved ones, and really just showing to me, or just letting the lens focus a bit about what's important.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Doesn't it make it all like I'm totally with you with the things that are just our own experiences and you have them out in the world separate from your family. But I too found it's all the more meaningful when you bring in your family, your kids, your wife. It just makes it more, it's just more meaningful.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah.
It resonates all the more.
Mm-hmm.
You have your chosen family, your friends that you do things with, and you can get like, let's say you get a prize or an accolade, whatever it is, some achievement. That's great. But once you make a family, it's like, wow, this really means something, and it means something on a level that that they'll keep with themselves forever, and to see Dad doing his thing.
Yeah.
And to know that it's possible is really, it's
Totally.
fantastic. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. That's
Way to go,
that's what I
Dad.
knew.
Way to go, Dad. All right.
Way to go, family.
Yeah.
Way to go, family.
Way to go,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
family. Way to go, family.
Absolutely.
So, Jordan, thank you for
Of course.
joining us on this very important show, our anniversary show. And we're so fired up that you agreed to come on and talk today and share yourself with us.
Of course.
Tell, you got a lot of stuff going on. Tell everyone where to find everything.
Okay, the most important thing you can do is, you can look for me on Adulting the Podcast, wherever. It's on Spotify and Wondery and, wherever you like to get yours. And then also my Instagram is Jordan Carlos Official, which has a wonderful link tree to all the various programs and shows that I do, namely Can We Talk About That? And of course, Everything's Trash, on and on. So, and also, if you have a chance, please, please support the WGA as well.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to find me, you'll find me tomorrow on a picket line.
Yeah.
So, doing the good work there. But those are all the places that you can find me online. And just come on anytime. And if you want to go to a live recording of Adulting, our last one is happening in a couple days, May 22nd. Don't know when this is coming out, but we'll be doing more in the fall.
Oh,
And
I hope so.
We'll be recharged and ready to go. We're really excited. Yeah.
Nice. Well, congrats on everything you're doing.
Thank you.
And good luck with the strike, and hope things get figured out. Sometimes
fingers
these
crossed.
are needed to make some progress. So I know several others who are experiencing this. So we're thinking about you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Appreciate it.
Everyone, follow Jordan's stuff. He makes us laugh. Just trust me. It's so good. Follow his stuff.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for listening. Share this with everybody. Continue to try to be that person you want your child to become. And ask yourself the guiding question I ask myself each day: what footprint do you want to leave?
Can I say one other thing?
Please.
Don't forget the peasant bread.
This has been a Peters and Rossi production. Parent Footprint with Dr. Dan is produced by Laura Rossi. Our engineer is Phil Rossi. Theme music is Strummer Man, composed and performed by Pro Tunes. Artwork is by Garrett Ross. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Parent Footprint Podcast and on Twitter at Dr. Dan Peters. For more information, go to exactlyrightmedia.com.